of their first championship in 53 years. Thanks to the miraculous tip-in from OG Anunoby that capped a 29-point comeback in Game 4 series now. Shifts to San Antonio, Game 5. Spurs and Wemby looking to extend the series. They obviously had every chance to do it the other night, but that one tip-in severely swung the analytics in favor of the Knicks, who now have an 86% chance to win this series. So that feels like a steep hill to climb for San Antonio, but according to their head coach, Mitch Johnson, they may not be that far off.
By no means am I not acknowledging the Knicks and what they've done and give them credit for playing good basketball, but we feel like we've decided the outcome of all 4 games.
Very interesting way of looking at it. Brian Windhorst, and we see Vincenzo jumping in with us as well as Tim McMahon. Windy, what's your reaction to what the coach said?
I've made this mistake too, Mitch Johnson. Last year when I watched the Celtics blow those 2 leads against the Knicks in that series, I said, it's 2-0 in this series, but I kind of feel like the Celtics are still in great position. Oh, no. I saw the Knicks finish them off, and I've seen the Knicks repeatedly do this to teams. I've seen them to do it to the Cavs, and now I'm watching them do it to the Spurs. When the Knicks are down by 15, they have you right where they want you. You think that's a joke, but that's how they play. They never quit. It is their design to wear you down. Their team knows it. Their team believes in it. Mike Brown knows it. He's not afraid
stay there, though. Half count. Stay in your shot at half count.
And in many ways, it puts them at ease. Thinking that you have control over a series is the fatal flaw against the New York Knicks.
Actually, Tim McMahon, I thought you made a really interesting point on our call this morning that Mitch Johnson may be right, but he may not be making the point he thinks he's making.
Yeah, I mean, what he's saying is not wrong, but what he's telling us is the Knicks are ready to be champions. The Spurs are not. The Knicks are the world's sexiest cockroaches. You've got to not just stomp on them, but squish them, flush them. Like, you can't get rid of these guys. The story wasn't even necessarily that the Knicks are finding ways to finish. They're finding ways to come back from double-figure leads. From a 29-point lead, a historic comeback in the finals. But if it's close late, the Knicks are proven closers, Jalen Brunson and that crew. And let's just be honest, this is where the Spurs' inexperience has reared its ugly head.
What do you think, Vinny?
Yeah, I think Michael Wilbon says it best. And even though we try to chastise Michael Wilbon for applying 80s logic to 2020s basketball, you got to get your heart broken. And they are getting their heart broken right now. We thought that they had gotten over the hurdle by beating Oklahoma City. But the thing about the Knicks is that their stamina, their collective stamina, is greater than any other team. They don't play the score, they play the actual game. And once they go up 15 or whatever it is, the Knicks just seem to start chipping away. They get more confident. They are more sure about how they play than any other team in the league. With the Spurs, if your most experienced player is De'Aaron Fox, and De'Aaron Fox is committing rookie mistakes in the last 15 to 20 minutes of the game, what are we going to expect from Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper and Victor Wembanyama? This will be a learning lesson no matter how or when this series ends, whether it's Saturday or whether it's Tuesday. The Spurs are going to look at this years from now and be like, this series helped us grow up.
Yeah, I think sometimes, I've always said, Windy, coaches talk to their teams through the media a lot. So I think you got a glimpse into what his message, Mitch Johnson's message is to his team. Guys, we've controlled every one of these games. If we just don't make these kinds of mistakes down the stretch, we should have won. We easily could have won all 4 of the games in this series so far, and clearly that is true. Do you have any sense of how they are bouncing back from what has to go down as one of the worst, if not the worst, defeats in the history of the NBA Finals?
Well, I think that's what he's doing. He's focusing on the positive. He's saying, let's not look at how we lost the lead. Let's look at how we got the lead and see if they can replicate it. I would just say that as they analyze their game plan for Game 5, they've got to do a better job of managing Victor Wembanyama's energy. And that is going to be at the forefront. The other thing is Jalen Brunson is starting to stitch it together. The first 2 games, they really held him down. The last 2 games, he's shooting almost 50%. His three-point shooting has come back, and his fourth quarter scoring is happening. They may need to tighten the screws down on their Brunson game plan. All
right, so once again, Joe Fortenbaugh with me as he is on Fridays with some of the best bets. What are you looking at for tomorrow night?
Let's start with the Spurs jumping out early, which is something they've done all season long. First quarter bet, Spurs minus 1.5 points. Look at this series. They're 4-0 in the first quarter against the Knicks with a plus 47-point differential. Yes, you are seeing that correctly. The Spurs are outscoring the Knicks by almost 12 12 points per first quarter in this series, which begs the question, how the hell are you down 3-1 when you're jumping up to leads like this? Spurs have been the best first quarter team in the NBA all season long, so we'll lean into that. Bet number 2, let's look at the Knicks. How many points are they going to score? Team total is set at 106.5. I'd bet the under there. I know that might come as surprising, but look at how well they shot in Game 4. It was their best shooting night of the season, or I should say of this series. It was their best three-point shooting night of the series, and on top of that, it was their most free throws of the entire series. And despite all that, they only scored 107 points. Both games in San Antonio featured the Knicks winning, but scoring 105 and 105. I think they're in for a lower-scoring game tonight.
All right, so you and I had a very interesting conversation over breakfast this morning about the actual line in the game, and a little bit later we'll dive into that, because I think it feels to me like they are begging you to go one way, and so the question is, do you go the other? But before anything else, Windman, I'm told you have a message for PK Subban.
Yeah,
I went to bed when the Spurs were up 30, and I woke up to that. So
and our guys
stupid of me in this series.
I just went over to him and was like, you're insane.
We welcome in NBA senior writer Brian Windhorst joining the program. Wendy, fantastic to see you. How has Jalen Brunson turned it around in these finals?
Well, he's found a way to get some efficiency, Gary, which the first 2 games of the series, he was shooting 33%. And the last 2 games, he shot about 46%. Now, that's not exactly what he would consider great, but against this Spurs defense that's been shutting down stars in this postseason, it's been really impactful for the Knicks. Look, you are never going to dominate the Spurs defense, but he has shown an ability to find cracks. He's shooting over the size of Victor Wembanyama. And when you compare it to the way they defended Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Ant Edwards the last 2 rounds before, all of a sudden it starts looking better, particularly the way he's been scoring in the fourth quarter. Now you look at those fourth quarter numbers and you say, well, there's not that much of a difference. Well, the Knicks have 2 one-point wins in this series. So that tells you right there, those 2 extra baskets he's getting compared to what Shai did last round, has been the difference in this series so far. And I suspect Brunson might be able to creep that field goal percentage up further.
36 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds in Game 4. Brunson becoming the first player to have consecutive games of 35 and 5 in a singles final since LeBron in 2017. Even his misses have been fortunate for the Knicks. OG Anunoby with the tip in Game 4.
Right.
How can Mitch Johnson set up Wemby for a must-win Game 5 if they want to extend this series?
They've just got to manage his energy better. I know that you're supposed to be able to have endless energy when you're 22 years old playing in the finals, but we've just seen that Victor's energy can wane, and he played 44 minutes in Game 4. It's the most minutes he's ever played in a game in regulation in his career. He only sat out about 50 seconds in the second half total, and I felt it showed a lot late in this game. Not just offensively, but defensively. His ability to move side to side and challenge shots, I think, was impacted. And I just think that they have to manage his minutes a little bit better. I know when Luke Cornett gets out there, they struggle a little bit, but they've got to figure out a way to save his energy for the late game.
It is do or die. Game 5 tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN in the NBA Finals. Will the Knicks get it done on the road? Wendy.
The way he rebounded the ball.
It was just things I was really picking up throughout the series. I did say, okay.